Now, the left continue their anti-monarchy crusade by asking online when the country will end the nonsense of the royal family, alongside sharing a picture of the King's coronation. Marina Purkiss, who is an outspoken left-wing commentator, tweeted a picture of the King and his two heirs. She said, "We're almost in 2024, FFS." We all know what that means. When are we going to end all this nonsense? Well, regular anti-monarchy basher Dr. Scholler also tweeted, "Uninspiring, insipid." That did lead a couple of people to make jokes about whether or not that was the description in her Tinder profile, but of course it is not. Joining me now to discuss whether the royals are absolute nonsense and they've got a place in the modern Britain that we have today is author and presenter Jenny Barnett and royal commentator Ingrid Seward. Thank you very much, both of you. Great to have you on the show. Ingrid, I will start with you then. Do you think that the royal family is nonsense and they're out of place in 2024 soon?
No, obviously I don't, Patrick, but I think I don't quite know why this picture has sort of created such offence. It's a historic picture. We're not going to see another coronation. This is the first time for 70 years we've seen all this regalia. We're not going to see another one immediately, I don't think, because I do very much feel that Prince William won't be doing things the same way as his father. But as for whether we need the monarchy, of course we need a monarchy. Otherwise, we're stuck with all these dreadful politicians who argue about anything just for the sake of getting their name up there. And arguing about the monarchy and saying it's irrelevant is a really popular subject. And I cannot tell you how many times I've talked about it. And we've never, ever come to a better conclusion than having a monarchy which has no power whatsoever. The only power it has is by its influence. And then some people like it, some people don't. But I think it has a very strong place in the modern world. I mean, not a great job in the modern world, in the era of the internet, when everything you do and say is watched. But they don't choose it. Prince Charles used to say it's not. It's a hereditary thing.
All right, I'll come back to you, Ingrid. Jenny, we're going to bring that picture up again in just a second now. What's your problem with it?
Well, if you're at the doctor's or if you're at the chiropodist, the Hello magazine is perfect because it's got pictures of the royal family all over it, and they're lovely. They're lovely to look at. I think Charles III is great. I like Prince William. But in a time when people are being polarised, it's an institute that perpetuates elitism and inequality within the British society. And it has come to a point now that I only see dollar signs and pound signs. They are worth £21.3 billion. We give them £467 billion. Why do we need to be supporting them? I think what the left is saying is that with the NHS and schools and housing and things going to rack and ruin, that they should put their money where the mouth is. They are an elitist organisation. I just say, if you're standing in line waving a flag, and the Princess of Wales, I love her, don't get me wrong, is wearing a £5,000 coat, what do you think you're feeling if you haven't got buses
love, patriotism, a national shared tradition, all of those things. I feel very sorry for people who don't have that. Their lives must be completely and utterly hollow. Ingrid,
It's like Rishi Sunak. I've got nothing in common with them.
That's all right, then don't vote for him. Do you know what I mean? But no one's forcing you to go out on the street and wave a flag or watch the coronation. Ingrid, I'm sorry, I'm getting involved in this debate now. Apologies. Ingrid, what do you make of all of that then? Go on.
Well, I understand the point, but I don't think the Princess of Wales does swan around the streets in a £5,000 coat. And we don't, it might say, the trouble is now, of course, everything is picked to pieces. And they say, oh, she's wearing a coat by, Alexander McQueen that cost £5,000, but it obviously hasn't cost her that. But that's irrelevant. I think the good they do is far outweighed by the potential expense. And I really feel that it's pretty...
What do they do that is so good that we should be giving them £500 million a year? Why can't they just
Well,
fund
what they do is they bring attention to things that nobody else can bring attention to, and certainly our politicians can't. And I don't think you can blame the royal family for the total failure of the NHS. It's absolutely nothing to do with them. And also remember they're custodians of what they own. They don't actually owe everybody. People, I don't think you actually, because I think you're an intelligent woman, but I think a lot of people think that they actually own the things that they have, but they are mere custodians. The crown jewels, the palaces, the acreage, it is their custodians of it.
Jenny, answer me honestly. Jenny, answer me honestly, right? When you saw that picture of them there and you look at the kind of lifestyle they lead, is it jealousy you feel?
No, I do not feel jealousy. I think, as he was saying, if you're born into that, huge responsibility, huge loneliness, huge confusion. I've got no interest in wanting to be part of that. And let me say that I think that the King is wonderful. I think his speech on Christmas Day was great. He's on the side of humanity. But I think at a time when the country is being stripped, and they themselves are worth £21.3 billion, I don't think we should be funding them. They did a survey, the National Centre for Social Research. They found that 55% of the British public consider the monarchy to be important, but they think the retention is not important, and there was only just 29% of us that agreed with it. It's the lowest proportion on record.
If you had a vote, that I get what you're saying with that, but I think it is that kind of thing that when people go into a polling booth and actually vote on whether or not they want the future of the monarchy, I think they would win a landslide. But ladies, thank you very much, both of you. Spirited debate, which is what we love. That is author and presenter Jenny Barnett, royal commentator Ingrid Seward. In the inbox, it is, as you would expect, a rather one-sided affair. I'm just going to very quickly delve into it. Patrick, the monarchy is under attack from all angles. We need to stand up to it. I think it's great that the head of the state, says Peter, is there and is doing rather well and is looking good in all of their regalia. I mean, that tends to be the overwhelming sense that I have in the inbox at the moment is that, genuinely, is that people have no problem whatsoever with the fact that our royal family are quite wealthy and show it. But there we go. Coming up.